No one likes problems. And when I think about my best possession day or closing day for clients, I can certainly think about a few bad ones, not a ton. I can think about a lot of them that are, really just neutral, normal. Um, and I can think of a few, ones that are really, really exceptional. I think for the most part, a really good possession day or closing day for me is just not getting those crazy phone calls about, the seller is still in the property and, or they took something they shouldn't have, or, yeah, this wasn't part of the contract. I think those are just good days to just not have those phone calls. I mean, I generally, for me, on a closing day, I generally am waiting until, I might message my clients the day before, like excited, closing day's coming. And then the day of, usually, a lot of times people are moving, so I don't, I try not to bug them in the morning. And believe me, if there's a problem with the closing, we'll hear about it. So it's not like I got to go looking for the information, but I find most times, more often than not, I'm having it's a pretty quiet morning. I'm not getting any phone calls or text. And then usually large money transfers happen in the afternoon between about 1 and 4. So, then I'm messaging my buyers in the afternoon to say, okay, like, what have you got the keys yet? What's going on? And for me, those are really good days. And then I usually don't, I usually try not to bug people, the day of closing or the day after. Usually I drop off something for them, when they gotta, I don't want to get them when they're too busy in the swing of things. But those are good closing days. Those are really good dates of possession, closing dates, whatever your preferred language is. It's really just, when things go smooth. And I would say 99% of the time things do go smooth. And part of that is the prep work up front, right? It's making sure that, I, not to sound like a cliche, but making sure the T's are crossed and the I's are dotted in the contract. I'm a pretty specific person when it comes to writing my contracts, writing my clauses, and following up on that information. So I find that, putting in that effort up front. I mean, I've worked with some agents on the other side over the years where, their contracts are so loose. It's like, I mean, I personally, I like to err on the side of having everything in writing versus not. And there are some agents that are like, hey, once the contract's done, we'll just exchange a few emails and that's enough. I'm not personally like that. I like everything documented, and I find by taking that line of thought, it definitely helps my closings go way smoother. So you know what? Tell me in the comments, when you've bought and sold, have your closings gone smooth or they've been a little bumpy? Tell me.